Hello everyone, I am Kriti Guleria, Assistant Professor, Army Institute of Education, Great Noida, affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh University, New Delhi. Today we will be discussing the topic Constructivist Approach in Learning, which is coming under B.Ed second semester under course code B.Ed 102 under course title Learning and Teaching. The construction of knowledge forms part of the progressive education where the individual or the learner learns through the mediation and the facilitation provided by the teachers. The concept of teaching is not limited to the previous and old age system of teaching, where the majority of the learning is being imparted by the teachers, whereas the learning has to be constructed by the learner himself. The teachers and the facilitator help the student through scaffolding, through mediation, coaching, and modeling. Scaffolding is the instructional approach which helps the child in constructing his own learning. We can take the example through the concept of combustion, where the learning can be imparted to the students through experimentation, hands-on activities, classroom discussion, group discussion, debates, through various audiovisual aids. In the class, teacher can ask the students to bring the candle, and once they light it up, the concept of combustion, requirement of oxygen, it can be explained. Whereas the concept of need of particular level of air, it can also be explained. If teacher switch on the fan, the flame will go off. It will prove that the required amount of oxygen is required for the flame to burn. By observation, the students can also view various levels and layers of the flames. Here, they are directly involved in the learning process because they're observing through various visual aids. They're seeing, they're identifying, they're finding out, they're discussing with the mentors, they're discussing with each other, putting up questions. So these things, they help the child to understand the things in a more clarified manner. Major pioneers of constructivist approach, they are led by Vygotsky, who had focused on social constructivism, where he said that individual requires the company of others to learn things, to identify broad aspects. Jean Piaget, he had focused on individual constructivism, where he had told and he had given various stages that how a child learns at different stage. It can be sensory motor stage, pre-operation stage, concrete operation stage, or formal operation stage. A child learns in a different manner at different stages, but he definitely constructs his own knowledge and he is not at the mercy of stimulus and response-based learning. John Dewey was a great philosopher who had given the concept of learning in the natural environment. And he was the pioneer who had told that bring the actual situation and bring the actual problems in the classroom curriculum. Then the child will learn. Similarly, Jerome Bruner was another great pioneer for constructivist approach. Here we come with the key concepts of constructivist approach. A child makes knowledge, he develops knowledge through his own cognitive aspect, which is being given the name of individual constructivism. He also learns through social interaction, social collaboration, learning from more knowledgeable others, as given by led by God's schemes. They are the different chains of actions which the child does and learns. It is not the ultimate result, but the way in which he carries out the information. For example, the concept of addition. The child, if we are giving two sets of children are there, and we are giving one set of students the concept of addition on, where the child, suppose he has to add 4 plus 3 is 7, so he will add on above 4, which is addition on method. In other method, the child might learn through adding all method, where he will draw 4 lines at one side, he will draw 3 lines at one side, and then he will add on. This is another way of learning. So ways are different, but the learning he is developing on his own. These schemes, it keeps on integrating with the change in position, change in condition. And it leads to development, knowledge construction through assimilation, accommodation, and other ways. When we talk about schemas, they are the representation of conceptual understanding. For example, a child, if he has the concept of a cat, he might relate it with different concepts, like it is a furry animal, it is cat is chasing mice, or cat is having long whiskers, or it is drinking milk. So there are different concepts which he's identifying those things. It will be more clear through this diagram, where the one concept, it can be related and it is understood in different ways by different children. For example, 7 can be taken and can be related by certain child to his age. By other child, he remembers it through number of days in a week. Other child might relate it with number of colors in a rainbow, or 6 plus 1 is 7, or 4 plus 3 is 7, or 7 children in park, or 7 ice creams, or 7 chocolates, number of things. So this is the mental representation that the child develops, and the way he develops the interaction and association with different concepts. When we talk about characteristics of constructivism, so here, learner construct understanding. He's not at the mercy of somebody else to give him understanding. When he participates in doing the work, then only he will learn. And there's always the reaction, chain reaction, as we had just now studied under schemes. One scheme relates and to development of different schemes. It's a chain reaction. Previous new information will add on the previous one. It will assimilate, and that information it will accommodate in his mental schema. And again, his schema will keep on upgrading. So every learning, it depends upon previous and current understanding. And it is along with the individual understanding, it is also facilitated by social interaction that he's having society with his peers, parents, family, etc. And that interaction has to be meaningful and should lead to authentic learning tasks. Something in a haphazard way should not be given. Situations should be pre-planned. They should be as per the level of the child understanding and his requirement. When we come to the features of constructivist approach, here students or the learners, they are actively involved. They are participating in the learning system. The environment where they are working, it has to give the free hand to the child to work. It cannot be in the watertight compartment where he is giving all the and he is getting all the information. Here, activities must be interactive and student-centered. They should relate to it. They should relate to the learning task. And along with the activities, the teachers must facilitate the process of learning where the students should be encouraged to be participative, to be responsible, and to work in a democratic way. So when we talk about different examples of constructivist activities, the number of examples and activities that can be conducted in the classroom by the teachers. First is brainstorming. Give an idea to the child. Let him explore. Let him think. Let him come out. It can be done through any newspaper clipping to be given in the classroom, and students are encouraged to read the passage and to give their views. Other group, they might protest or they might confront the child with their thoughts. But with this contradictory argument, it will lead to understanding the things from different perspectives. Let the child experiment. Let him make mistakes. But with each mistake, he will learn. And under experimentation, the mentors or the facilitators, they must provide that conducive environment where experimentation can be done properly. Research projects. It can be given individual level or at group level. So when they are working on a project, they are relating to it. They are searching for it. They are reading books. They're going to Google. They're getting to encyclopedia. They'll refer number of things in order to bring out the best. Physical field trips, it definitely gives a long-lasting learning to the child. Because here he's not sitting in the closed environment of the classroom, but he's in open environment. He's an open world where he's facing different situations. He's confronting different problems. And he's also finding out the ways to deal with it. So every problem will give a solution, and each solution will give learning. Various audiovisual aids support learning because it is involving the sensory organs, which helps in remembering the task, remembering the activities for a long period. Classroom discussions, discourse, they help a lot in developing the mental activities and mental abilities of the child. They'll understand the concept or any point from different point of view. They will be able to critically analyze the things. Give them small group work, where each individual will be given his task. He will be responsible and liable for his work allotted. And after the work is done, it can be presented through presentation. It can be done through role plays. It can be done through presentations. So number of ways are there through which students can come out with their learning, with whatever they had understood. And when something is being taught, they will remember it for a longer time. And also encourage students to do simulations. These examples, they provide a very basic and proactive role and enable the student to learn in the classroom settings. Now, there are various processes that facilitate construction of knowledge. First is experiential learning and reflection, social mediation, negotiability, situated learning, cognitive apprenticeship, and metacognition. So we'll discuss each one in detail. Experiential learning, learning through experience. Whatever a child will learn or he will experience, he will keep and he will remember it for a longer time. I can explain it through an example. We all have studied and read in different books that a child, he climbed on the tree, he plucked the flower or fruit and he came down. But climbing a tree is not as simple as it sounds. As a learner, they should come out in the open. They should be given the task to perform. The facilitator must encourage the child to climb the tree, because once they'll climb, then only they'll understand how difficult it is and where they have to put their step on, where they have to hold. So different things are required which will help him to enable the learning. It also enables him to develop that knowledge and skill, either directly or indirectly. First of all, the facilitator, in this example, he can give the demo to the child, to the students, to the learner, how to climb, where to hold, how to make your balance, how to push your body up. So even this small thing, it is a part of experiential learning. Carl Rogers, he was a great proponent of experiential learning, where he had said that experiential learning is equivalent to personal change and growth. And every individual has a natural propensity to learn. And as a teacher and as a facilitator, the teachers must facilitate this learning. So it gives a big task on the shoulders of the teachers to provide that opportunity to the children in the learning environment. When we look into the cycle of experiential learning, the child will first experience any situation wherever he is. It can be an activity, it can be a given situation, it can be an experiment, it can be any other task given by the facilitator. After getting that experience or getting observation of whatever is being provided to him, he will share those observations at individual level, at bigger level in the classroom, at further bigger level in the assembly, school assembly, or at other debate competitions or any other thing. And after that, he will analyze different patterns of understanding. What were the things? Where I went wrong? What are the more inputs that I can do? Once he will analyze, he will infer those principles. If I went wrong, so these are the things which had gone wrong and I must work upon this thing. But if it has gone correct, then it can be applied to new situation. And this application of new situation, it will lead to again to new experience, new situation, and which he can further utilize at some other place. So it forms a cycle. And experiential learning, as we had earlier discussed, every new learning, it forms base from the previous learning, because it is a chain reaction. Understood? So when we come to social mediation, here the learner learns through collaboration with others. And when the individuals, they are collaborating, they're giving due weightage and respect for others' perspective. They have to understand that whatever they are thinking should not always be correct. There is other point of view also. There's other way of thinking, other perspective to this particular situation. This can happen only when he's working in unison. He's working with people around. He's working with the society. And when he will interact with others, he has to do the interaction, which is again individual interaction, social interaction. And for that interaction, they have to be interdependent on each other. And that interdependence has to be positive. Either we'll swim together or we'll sink together. So interdependence and liability, one should not become the liability on others. You should always be an asset. And when they are working in group, it has to be each individual is accountable. As such, in the current situation, when the schools are off and online classes are going on, colleges are off. So what teachers are doing, they are giving some task, usually group task. And in that task, each individual member, he has to contribute in one way or other. So that is accountability, where each student is accountable for his part which has been allotted to him. And when the individual accountability they will showcase, then only the group work can come out to the best. And when they'll feel the value of that accountability, then only they will work. Because here they are working with the society. Social negotiation is there. And that social negotiation will lead to interpersonal and small group skills. It will take out the qualities hidden and the talents hidden within the student. Because now he's accountable, he has to portray that he's the best, he will come out with his best of abilities and he will give his best. And when the work is being complete, again, it has to be reflected back through evaluation. So these things are important when a child or a person is working with negotiation with people, which is known as social negotiation. And what activities that can be conducted under it? Think, pair, share. Individual level, the child has to think, then he has to share it with his group member, and he has to share it with the classroom. Or it can be further a bigger team where they are starting with the team, they are coming down to the pair, and again they have to work it out at the solo level. Or it can be 3-step interview where the students or the learner, they are being asked to go through at 3 level of interview. First step will be maybe basic and increasing with the higher level of difficulty. Jigsaw, 3 minutes review, brainstorming. So these are different activities through which the student will work with people, he will work in society, they will think, they will brainstorm, and they will come out with their best. Next aspect is situated learning. It is a theory which suggests that any learning should happen through an authentic activity at a particular context and particular culture. Whatever was applicable in one situation, it might not be applicable in other situation. If we take the example of the candle that we had taken earlier, in one scenario, the child, he might learn that oxygen is required for a flame to burn. Here, the context is different, and his learning will be different. That yes, oxygen is required for burning, and it is helping the candle to burn. Whereas in next situation, the same flame, it can lead to arson. So in at different context, the same flame, it is creating havoc at the place. So learning, it has to be understood that flame, it might be good at one place where it is showing light during darkness, whereas if it is taken in the different context, it might create havoc. When we talk about what are the approaches for situated learning, first of all, it has to be inquiry and problem-based learning. As a facilitator, teacher should give the situation where the child has to find out the reason. He has to inquire. He has to search. He has to brainstorm. It can be like critical analysis of newspaper article. Give any article to the student in the classroom. In the group, they have to discuss and they have to give out and discuss in the classroom with their outcome. How they have solved the problem or what is their understanding based on that particular article. Next could be dialogue and instructional learning. Interaction plays a very important role in learning. Give the situation where the child is learning, he's interacting with others, then only he will learn. Cognitive apprenticeship, where less experienced learner acquires knowledge under the guidance of an expert. For example, a mechanic, while he's learning the task, he has to learn the skill of doing the work of mechanic under the guidance of an expert mechanic. So in the same manner, for cognitive apprenticeship, less experienced learner, he must gain the knowledge from the better experienced one. Now that better experienced one or more knowledgeable others can be teachers, can be friends, can be mentors, can be parents, anybody. And when we talk about metacognition, it is knowledge about cognition and the way the individual can control it. Knowledge about his own thinking. Why am I doing this? What is the reason I have chosen this path? Self-analyze, self-evaluation. So these are the few approaches which come under situated learning. Next aspect is cognitive apprenticeship. It is a model where practical knowledge and practical aspect and skills, they can be developed through more knowledgeable others. Less experienced learner acquires knowledge and skills under the guidance of an expert. When we talk about metacognition, it is the awareness and understanding of one's own thought. It can be understood through various examples, like planning a learning task, using appropriate skills and strategies to solve a problem. Now, everybody is different in his own term. He knows where he has expertise, through which strategy he can solve the problem, or where he has got the mastery over. So getting to know oneself has to be required, and it forms the basis for metacognition. They have to understand their own comprehension, their own capability, their own ability. Self-assessment, assessing where they are lacking. For example, A child might score good under MCQs, whereas he might not be able to write more and gain more marks under long answer questions. So he knows if while attempting the question paper, I must attempt MCQs first where I can gain hold of marks. Whereas the area where I'm lagging, I can leave it for later purpose. Okay, so here the person or the individual, he knows where what are my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. And also in evaluating the progress of the individual. When we talk about metacognitive knowledge, there are three types of knowledge: strategic knowledge, knowledge about cognitive tasks, and self-knowledge. Now, when we talk in detail about these three knowledge, strategic knowledge, ability to use the strategies as per the requirements and as per the ability of the cognition of the individual. For example, where to use quadratic equation, how to use quadratic equation in mathematics, where to use Heron's formula or Pythagoras theorem. There are certain set patterns which are confirmed and which applies universally. Second is knowledge about cognitive task. It includes contextual and conditional knowledge. That is, applying different cognitive strategies in different tasks. That where to use this application and where not. Third is self-knowledge, which says that knowledge about one's own strengths and weaknesses. Like someone is good in solving MCQs while others in doing essay type answers first. So knowing one's own self, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, that is your self-knowledge. And all these three knowledge, they come under metacognition. Cognition about your own self. So all these things and all these aspects, they are very beneficial. They are beneficial also, and they form base for knowledge construction. So when we talk about knowledge construction, it is always said, give the free hand to the child, give the environment to the child, let him explore, let him solve, let him fall, let him rise, and he will learn on his own. Because the life is not simple. Each individual, he has to learn and he has to construct his own knowledge. So I end my presentation with the quote that the road to success is always under construction. So keep constructing. Thank you.